Think of your favorite place in the world. Can you picture it? What does it smell like? What do you hear? How does it make you feel? New York Times bestselling author Emily Henry takes you on a journey full of senses and nostalgia in her latest book, Happy Place.
Happy Place is the story of Harriet and Wynne, who are or have been the perfect couple for the last 8 or so years that they've been dating since they got together in college. And a huge part of their relationship is this shared group of friends that they have been close to since they were all in school together. And every summer, this group of friends takes a trip to a home on the coast of Maine, and it's all of their shared happy place.
Only this year's trip is going to be much different than those in the past.
Harriet is supposed to be going without Wynne, and she's going to break the news to her friends finally that they actually broke up 5 months earlier. Only when she gets there, Wynne is already there, and it turns out that their friend's family is selling this cottage that has been their happy place, and so it's kind of their last hurrah. So Wynne and Harriet decide they will fake it for one more week, pretend that they're still together to preserve this perfect nostalgic week, and then afterwards come clean to their friends.
If that plot doesn't immediately grab your attention, the writing will. Emily is widely known for her beach reads or lighthearted books that make you want to keep turning the page to find out what happens next. This is evident in her previous books, Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, and Book Lovers, where she makes the reader feel like they're on a trip with the characters.
It's sort of escapist and really atmospheric, really immersed in the feeling of being in a coastal Maine town and being with the people who you love the most and who know you better than anyone else.
Along with incredible imagery, Emily adds a little angst into the storyline.
I think it's a very joyful book, but there is, a ton of that angsting, that pining. And I love that as a reader. I love writing that. So I'm so happy that readers have been really loving it too.
And if you love romance tropes, you'll find plenty while reading this book.
Even the more ridiculous, absurd, over-the-top heightened reality tropes, I do think come from reality. And they're just things we notice and are intrigued by and then try to play with our fiction.
Case in point, Emily says she recently met someone whose friends were in a similar situation to Harriet and Wynne.
She found out that some of her close friends who came to her wedding were actually broken up. And they did not tell her and her husband because they didn't want to pull the focus from the wedding. They didn't want anything stressful or sad because they were all part of the same friend group. And so it was like they went to the wedding together and fully pretended that they were still together for the sake of their friends.
Of course, it wouldn't be an Emily Henry novel without some witty banter between the characters.
Banter is my favorite thing to write. There are definitely stretches of my editing process that are trying to cut their extended conversations down to be a more reasonable length because I could just probably write banter for days on end. Everything else, like needing a plot, is kind of tricky, but banter is fun.
Something fun about her writing is that she likes to sprinkle in details of her real life in all of her books, including Happy Place.
I'm never fully any character. None of my friends are ever fully a character or anything like that, but there are always a lot of little details. Cleo, one of Harriet's best friends in this book, has vegetable tattoos on her knuckles, and I have a friend with vegetable tattoos on her knuckles who is also a farmer, an urban farmer like Cleo is, and they're not the same person, but all those little tiny details that make a character feel real, you kind of have to harvest those, I feel like, from real life.
After we talked about the book, I had one final question to ask Emily. What is your happy place?
My happy place, I have multiple, of course, and that's kind of part of the book too, is that there are all these different places that loom really large in Harriet's memory. But as far as her happy place being this cottage on the coast of Maine, my happy place, I would say in that same way, is the shore of Lake Michigan. I just feel really peaceful there, and I feel really optimistic and hopeful because I have so many important memories there that when I'm there, I can kind of look back on how far I've come.
Wherever you go, whoever you're around, your happy place can be anything you want it to be because how you feel matters the most.
You want that to be the place you'd rather be over anywhere else in the world.